We now move into one of the most operationally important sections of the listing agreement, broker authority. This section governs marketing control, MLS submission, photos, lockboxes, offer disclosure, backup offers, and cancellation rights. This is where daily brokerage operations meet Arizona law, MLS rules, and the Arizona Department of Real Estate's supervision requirements under AAC R4 28-1103. This section protects the broker's marketing authority, the integrity of MLS data, fair housing compliance, public advertising standards, the safety of the property. Let's break this down carefully. Listing broker's role, not property manager or custodian. The agreement clarifies that the listing broker is not responsible for custody, condition, management, upkeep, or repair of the property unless under a separate agreement. This is extremely important. Many sellers assume that once a home is listed, the broker becomes responsible for monitoring vacant property, ensuring utilities stay on, or protecting against vandalism. That is not the broker's legal role. Valley example. A vacant property in Buckeye is vandalized during listing. The seller attempts to claim broker negligence. This clause reinforces that the broker is not the custodian of the property. Discussion question. Why is it important to clarify that the broker is not responsible for property upkeep during the listing term? Answer. Because it prevents liability claims for damage, theft, or maintenance issues outside the broker's scope of duty. Owner advertising restriction. Protecting exclusive authority. The owner agrees not to advertise or market the property without the prior written permission of the broker. This reinforces the exclusive right to sell. If a seller independently markets the property on social media or through private channels while under exclusive listing, it can create MLS rule violations, fair housing risks, commission disputes, misrepresentation issues. Example, a Gilbert seller posts "for sale by owner" on Facebook while under an exclusive right to sell agreement. A buyer contacts them directly. The broker's commission rights remain intact, but confusion and conflict are created. Discussion. Question. Why should marketing control remain centralized through the listing broker? Answer. To ensure compliance with MLS rules, advertising regulations, fair housing standards, and broker supervision requirements. Multiple listing service, broad exposure, and mandatory reporting. This section explains what the MLS is and authorizes the broker to submit all relevant information about the property, including sale price, financing terms, rental terms. MLS submission creates transparency and market data accuracy. MLS rules typically require submission within 1 business day of public marketing. This is critical in Arizona's regulatory environment. Under AAC R4 28-502, advertising requirements, advertising must be truthful and properly supervised. MLS submission supports compliance and transparency. Important compliance note. If a property is publicly marketed, yard sign, internet post, flyer, MLS submission is generally required within 1 business day under most MLS rules. Valley example. A Chandler listing is publicly promoted on Instagram. If it is not entered into MLS within the required time frame, the brokerage could face MLS fines and possible compliance review. Discussion. Question. Why must sale price and financing terms be reported to MLS after closing? Answer. Because MLS data integrity supports accurate market statistics, appraisals, and public record transparency. Owner choice on marketing, delayed or limited marketing elections. The owner may authorize immediate broad marketing or may choose delayed, limited marketing. If the owner does not authorize broad marketing, a separate addendum, delayed or limited marketing election, must be completed. This is particularly important in the post-settlement regulatory environment where transparency and seller control are emphasized. Example. A Scottsdale seller wants a private listing marketed only to select agents. This requires proper documentation and compliance with MLS rules. Discussion question: what risks arise if delayed marketing is not properly documented? Answer: MLS violations, fair housing concerns, and potential claims of restricted market exposure harming the seller's interests. Signs: public marketing trigger. The listing agreement allows or prohibits placement of for sale signs, for rent signs, pending or sold signs. The seller acknowledges that public marketing triggers MLS submission requirements. Signs are considered public advertising. Under Arizona advertising rules, brokerage identification must be clear and prominent. Photos and video, control and intellectual property. This section authorizes the broker to place photos and video online. Important points: once online, images cannot be fully controlled. Images may be copied or redistributed. The broker owns the marketing images. The broker may use images for future advertising. This protects the brokerage's marketing rights and clarifies intellectual property ownership. Valley example: a Mesa seller demands removal of all photos after closing. The agreement clarifies the broker retains rights for marketing purposes. Discussion. Question: why must sellers be warned about internet photo permanence? Answer: because once images are online, they may remain archived on third-party platforms beyond the broker's control. Lockbox, key safe, access and risk allocation. The listing agreement authorizes installation of a lockbox. This clause clearly states that brokers and MLS are not insurers against theft, vandalism, or injury related to lockbox use. In Arizona, tenant-occupied properties require proper statutory notice under landlord-tenant law before access. Valley example: a tenant in Tempe claims improper notice before showing. The broker must ensure compliance with Arizona landlord-tenant notice requirements. Discussion. Question: why must tenant notice requirements be strictly followed when using a lockbox? Answer: because failure to provide proper notice can violate landlord-tenant law and create liability. Offers: disclosure of existence and terms. The owner may authorize the broker to disclose the existence of offers, including price and terms. This is a strategic decision. Disclosing multiple offers may encourage competitive bidding, strengthen negotiation leverage. However, improper disclosure could create disputes or misrepresentation claims. Example: a Gilbert listing receives 3 offers. The seller authorizes disclosure of multiple offers received, but not specific price details. Discussion. Question: what risk arises if a broker falsely claims multiple offers exist? Answer: it could constitute misrepresentation and violate ADRI rules, leading to discipline. Subsequent offers and backup offers, seller's rights. The owner retains the right to accept backup offers until closing or tenant occupancy. Backup offers must be contingent upon cancellation of the primary contract. This is especially important in competitive markets where transactions frequently fall out of escrow. Example: a Peoria property under contract continues to show as accepting backup offers. If the first buyer cancels during inspection, the seller can immediately activate the backup offer. Discussion. Question: why must backup offers be contingent upon cancellation of the primary contract? Answer: because a seller cannot legally sell the same property to 2 buyers simultaneously without contingency structure. MLS status compliance, ongoing supervision. The broker must maintain accurate MLS status in accordance with MLS rules. Improper status reporting can result in MLS fines, broker discipline, consumer misinformation. Under AAC R4-28-1103, designated brokers must supervise advertising and record keeping. Cancellation by broker for cause, legal protection. The broker reserves the right to cancel the listing unilaterally for cause, including illegal activity, fair housing violations, fraudulent seller behavior, requests to misrepresent property condition. This protects the brokerage from being forced into unlawful conduct. Valley example. A seller instructs the broker to conceal a known structural issue. The broker may cancel the listing rather than violate disclosure laws. Discussion. Question. Why must a broker have the right to cancel a listing for legal or ethical cause? Answer. Because brokers cannot be compelled to participate in unlawful or unethical conduct. Bringing this section together. This page governs the operational control of the listing. It ensures marketing compliance, MLS integrity, accurate advertising, seller authorization, risk allocation, broker protection. In the metropolitan Phoenix marketplace, where digital marketing, MLS exposure, and social media are powerful tools, strict adherence to these provisions protects your license and your brokerage.